Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rosica and this is the Midnight Reader. I have arrived in Oregon. This is my new house, a house that I actually own. My reading nook is not yet set up. It's probably going to be the last thing that gets pulled together in the house just because books are kind of easily tucked away in boxes. And I was gonna film this outside in my cute new backyard. However, my neighbor's dog so far views me as a threat, so there's just a lot of barking. You'll still slightly hear the dog barking in the background because I am very threatening to this very cute dog. I have to start my long wooing of said dog to be friends. But yeah, anyway, hi, welcome back. Yes, I continue to exist. I did survive my trek of the Oregon Trail from the east to west coast of the United States without getting dysentery. Just jokes for all my millennial friends who also had to play that game during their designated computer hour in elementary school because the internet used to live in a specific room. That's how old I am. My husband has no idea what that game is because he grew up in Germany, and I deeply, deeply want to make him play it so he can experience the true jank that I grew up with. So this video is going to be about my participation in Summerweenie. If you don't know what Summerweenie is, it's a yearly readathon hosted by Gabby Reads. Every year she gives a variety of spooky prompts, and you can either follow them or just read some books which are kind of spooky and sort of embrace the theme in some way of Halloween in early July. So this year the prompts were: 1, read a book at night or in the dark. 2, read a thriller or horror. 3, read a book with a night sky or any sky on the cover. 4, read a book with 5 or more words in the title. And 5, read a book that takes place in the summer. I didn't pick my TBR specifically based on the prompts. I just tried to read a couple of books that I thought were kind of spooky, mysterious, or about murder, mystery kind of things. And then I retconned the prompts later. The 3 books this year I was able to read were Bunny by Mona Awad, Shady Hollow by Juneau, and The Body in the Library by Agatha Christie. So prompt-wise, all 3 of these books I read almost exclusively in the evenings in the dark, so they all tick off that particular prompt. Bunny is technically classed as a horror. Shady Hollow has a night sky on the cover. The Body in the Library is 5 words in the title. And I also think The Body in the Library takes place in the summer because it is set in England and literally it never rains. Everyone keeps commenting about how nice the weather is. So even though I think it doesn't ever mention a specific season, I'm gonna go with that summer in England. Was it weird to read a bunch of spooky murdery books in the middle of the summer? Not really. I mean, I guess I tend to read actually quite a few mysteries and thrillers in the summer months anyways. The only thing that was slightly odd was kind of keeping in a specific theme for longer than I normally do. So usually I bounce back and forth between different genres, or like every other book is a different, completely different genre. So maybe that was a bit different, but otherwise I don't think it was much of a change from my normal reading style. And I'm not a huge seasonal reader, even though I do try to do that for my channel sometimes because themes. So to kind of review the books, book 1 was Bunny by Mona Awad. I'm not going to be giving full thoughts on this because I actually read it as part of a collaboration buddy read, a sort of longer term project which I'm undertaking with Kelly at Kelly Seeks Books and Jay at My Quarter Life Crisis. And we're planning on making like a larger series of collab videos. So I'm going to talk more about Bunny and my thoughts on Bunny in that. So I'm just going to give you kind of a brief snippet of thoughts. So Bunny follows Samantha as she enters her final year in a graduate writing program at a prestigious New England university. It follows her as she is repulsed by this sickly, sweet, sycophantic clique of girls who refer to themselves and each other as bunnies. Hence the title. She's repulsed by them all the way until she gets an invitation to join their mysterious clique. So Mean Girls, but make it dark academia, make it animal ritual, make it a pernicious need to belong no matter what the cost. This really got hyped a lot around BookTube. A lot of booktubers that I have followed put this on the echelons of literature, and I think I landed somewhere in the it was just okay range. Like this was a 3.5 star read for me. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. And honestly, my chief complaint is going to be that I don't think it fully committed to the horror genre, which is hilarious because I hate horror. But I think it hedged. It swerved back into dark academia and it swerved back into thriller territory. And to be honest, I think that made the book a little bit less interesting than if it had fully committed to the bit. It just made it a little more bland. Could have had more axe murder, is all I'm saying. For all other complaints, please watch my future collab video. Book 2 was Shady Hollow by Juneau. This one I've also been seeing on a couple of channels around. It's the first book in a cozy mystery series featuring anthropomorphic forest creatures. And I am bummed that I only have the first book in the series at my local library. The story features Vera Vixen, a fox of course, and she is trying to get to the bottom of a murder that has rocked their small town of Shady Hollow. But another creature will stop at nothing, maybe even another murder, to cover their tracks. It's basically like playing a murder mystery in Animal Crossing. It has a distinctly rural small town feel in the sense that everyone knows everyone and everyone's business, whether you like it or not. There is even the slightest hint of a romance, which I deeply enjoyed. I don't even care if the plot was a little predictable and the animals all sort of stayed in their stereotypical roles, i.e. a raccoon is always a thief. There is a raven named Lenora who runs a bookshop called Nevermore. Be still my telltale heart. I don't care if this book has flaws. I loved it. It was a snack. It was a solid 5 stars. I will be hunting down the second book in the series. Book number 3 was The Body in the Library by Agatha Christie. This book was a bit of a special pick for me. So if you didn't know, or if you don't follow her, Alice from Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. It was a popular mid-sized booktube channel and a genuinely warm, lovely person who extended small kindnesses to me when I was a baby booktuber that meant a lot to me. She very recently passed away, unfortunately, and it's one of the great joys and sorrows of this tiny community is meeting all these wonderful people even in this small and passing way, and so losing them feels like such a gut punch. There are all these people who I care about and I would have never known without booktube, and maybe I only know some of them like Alice in this tiny and small way, but it still feels awful as she will be so missed from our community. But if you've ever watched Alice's channel, you will know that she nursed a well-known love of all things Agatha Christie. I also love Agatha Christie, and it's one of the ways that I found out about her channel, and one of the best things I ever watched her do was just wax poetical in hundreds of ways about the legendary detective Hercule Poirot. I love Poirot a lot too. I have not read the full backlog, but I am working my way through it. I'm hoping I can eventually. I have never read a Mrs. Marple, who is another one of Christie's amateur sleuths. So I thought, in honor of Alice and her giant bookshelf and her deep love for all things Christie, I would finish off Summerweenie with The Body in the Library. This is the second book in the Miss Marple series, and I did take Alice's advice from one of her videos that this was not one that needed to be read in any particular order, so I picked it up. The story opens on a stately English manor in the household of Colonel Bantry, when the household is awakened with a scream because the body of a young woman is discovered dead in the library. No one has ever seen or knows the gaudily garbed figure. A multitude of questions need answers, including who is she, why is she here, and who killed her. It's a classic detective mystery. Literally everyone in the book keeps saying, "Oh, this is like a novel." We're like, we know, you're in a novel. On an aside, Agatha Christie does such an incredible flex. There's genuinely a fanboy. Like, he's a small fan of murder mysteries and detective stories, and he's a boy, he's a child. He's literally a fanboy. He's talking to one of the characters and he's talking about how he has all these famous mystery writers' signatures, and one of them, he says, is from Agatha Christie, which, what a flex to name drop yourself in fiction, right? Like, what a flex. Eager to keep the small village from gossiping and speculating about Colonel Bantry's relationship with the young woman, his loving wife invites Miss Marple, the amateur-aged village sleuth, to come help solve the mystery before their social circle also dies a horrible death. The main difference between Miss Marple and Poirot is that while Poirot is a professional detective and the story is seen through his lens, like it's his viewpoint, that's how you see the story, Mrs. Marple, she exists mostly in the periphery for like 75 to 80% of the story. She's a side character, just kind of skulking along in the background until she swoops in to save the day and solve the mystery at the end. In standard Christie fashion, I had no idea what the twist was. I was completely and utterly baffled, and I enjoy being baffled. I will definitely be reading the other Miss Marple that I own soon, and I would recommend this if you enjoy the mystery set in the clipped English upper crust village life sort of thing. If you want to see a detailed breakdown on Agatha Christie's entire catalog because she wrote so many books and kind of where to start in the Poirot and Marple universes. I am going to link Alice's entire playlist of videos that she made about the topic because she was the expert in the field. All this to say is rest in peace, Alice, and I hope you're still reading mysteries somewhere. And that was my Summerweenie. I'll be honest, I didn't commit to the bit that hard. I didn't choose a huge TBR, and I basically just picked books I already wanted to read and then sort of tried to fit them into the prompts later. I will definitely say though, after about 100 degrees of Oregon heat wave, I'm very much looking forward to fall. And I'm sure I'll have a few more spooky books to read by then. Did you participate in Summerweenie? Have you read any spooky books lately? Let me know in the comments below. Fingers crossed, now that I have arrived in Oregon and I'm getting settled into my life here, I will have less erratic of an upload schedule. And as always, I hope you're doing well, and I will see you all next video. Bye.